I'm Kristen. I'm the marketing manager from the IWSC, and we are so excited to be heading to Australia for our judging in August. And we thought it's a great opportunity for you producers to hear a bit more about why we are going to Australia, but also it's a great opportunity for you to ask our expert judges any questions you have about the judging process, about the results, and anything else that comes to mind. So I'm not going to do too much talking other than to introduce our fantastic judges that we have with us today. So 2 out of the 4 judges we're going to be taking to Australia. So MW Alistair Cooper is going to be our judging committee member, and Ali has been a judging committee member for years now. So he is well versed with everything to do with the IWSC. And Ali is a global consultant wine buyer for Sydney-based company United Cellars, which I'm sure you all know a lot more about than I do. And then we also have veteran IWC judge Freddy Bulmer, and Freddy is the wine buyer for the Wine Society, that's the world's oldest wine club. We'll be having 2 more judges and potentially a 5th, because entries are coming in thick and fast, which is fantastic. So when we come up with the 5th, we will announce that soon. But the other 2 judges joining us are Melania Battiston, and she is currently the food and beverages manager at Amman Resort Group. She was previously head sommelier at the Medlar, and she won this year the Young Sommelier of the Year award, which is fantastic. And then also Libby Brodie, and Libby's the founder of Bacchus and Brodie, which is an independent London-based wine consultancy, and she's also the dedicated wine columnist for City AM, which is a free magazine that's distributed around London City. So I won't go on anymore, and I will hand you over to Freddy, to Ali first, who is going to take you through what the IWSC is doing in Australia. So I'll leave it with you.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thanks for that, Kristen. And first of all, we're so excited about coming down to Australia and to see you guys in a very short time. Actually, it's only in about seven or so weeks, isn't it? I think so. Yeah, we're very much looking forward to it. And I'm just going to talk you through a little bit about the judging in situ and sort of why we do it and why I think it's been a great move forward for the IWSC for everyone involved. And then going to hand you over to Freddy in a bit to talk about the actual judging process itself, because it's quite different to the judging process that you guys have over in Australia. And so Freddy will be able to tell you a little bit about that. And then any questions you've got, of course, at the end, we'll go probably questions at the end, I think is the easiest thing to do. Then we can go through any queries. So first of all, the sort of logistics and specifics about us coming over, which I'm sure you know already, but I'll just run through them. So we're going to be coming over and judging on the Wednesday, the 30th of August to Friday, the 1st of September. So I think we're doing the 3. We normally do judge in the mornings, but we'll go on as obviously as late as we need to. And we're judging at Claro. The results will be announced on that Friday the 1st. I think we're going to have a ticketed event, I believe, at Claro for producers to be there. And then we'll make public the results on Monday, the 4th of September, just as we get back, I think, from our travels down under back to London. So as Kristen said, we're bringing 4, possibly 5, I think, local judges, I mean being international judges from the UK, and to judge with locals. I think we've got 4 local judges from Australia. I don't know if they're all from Margaret River, but there's going to be that balance, which is 50-50 pretty much, of judges that we're bringing over and local judges, which again I think is a really, really great way to do it, and again slightly different perhaps to how it's done in Australia. So I believe entry is discounted, so it's £109 per wine. I think normally it's £50 more, and of course the wines are sent directly to Claro rather than having to send them to the UK, which would normally be the case. So I think there's some little advantages there for producers already. Yeah, a little bit about the judges, a little bit about myself. I think Kristen did say, so I do various things in the wine world, and I'm going to be overseeing the judging I do a lot of judging over the world. So I'm president of the largest wine competition in South America, which takes place in Chile every year. So I do that every year. I spend a bit of time over there. And as I think you used the word veteran for Freddy, but which I liked as a judge. But yeah, I've been judging for a while with the IWSC for quite a few years on the wine judging committee. So I'll be overseeing the tasting, and Freddy again will tell you a little bit more about how that process works. So yeah, other things I do, I write for Jancis Robinson, I write for Decanter and Club Enologique and various other things, and I consult in various capacities and educate for various wineries and work as a consultant, sort of buyer in many ways for United Cellars, who are based in Sydney. So I help them find wines from Europe to export over to Australia. So I'm very lucky that I get to do lots of things in the world of wine. But judging is one of the things I very much enjoy. And actually, the recent judging, so a little bit about, I'll tell you now about the process and what I believe has been a really great move forward for the IWSC of this judging in situ. I've just seen it add value for everyone along the way. First of all, I think it's added value for the IWSC as a competition. It's something that we've done in the past, but we've really kicked off a fairly aggressive expansion, I suppose, of doing this. There's been a program. Our team are in Argentina at the moment. I was in Turkey a couple of weeks ago. Freddy was in Austria 3-4 weeks ago. We've done Georgia this year. We're doing South Africa again in a few weeks, and then we're heading over to Australia. And I've just seen nothing but positivity for everyone involved. As I say, it's been great for the competition, for the judges, but most importantly for the producers as well, because to get the opportunity to have the international judges in your region of origin is invaluable. In fact, when I did my Master of Wine, it was following, I'll tell you a quick story, which is pretty relevant, I think. When I came over on a big trip to Australia with Tim Wildman. I think it was it must have been 2012, just as I was starting the Master of Wine. And I was blown away by the hospitality and the things that I saw that were put on to us as visiting wine professionals to Australia. We traveled all over Australia. And it was amazing how the producers that really got it right managed to turn us into ambassadors for life, for their regions and for their wineries as well. In fact, I thought it was so powerful that I decided to do my first attempt of a Master of Wine dissertation on exactly that, on how do you translate having wine professionals in your winery through sales and the impact of how you can create these ambassadors for life. As it turns out, I spent a year on it and couldn't find all the information that I needed because I my own fault, but it's always been something that's been really amazing for me to see when producers get it right, when regions get it right, the impact that it can have on those professionals. So I think it's been great to do that. It's an opportunity for the judges to fully immerse in the region, to learn, and to be tasting in the area of origin is obviously far preferable than tasting in a room in London, if possible. But also, I think the judging process and the blend of having local judges as well as having international judges works exceptionally well. So there's always a lot of discussion. Again, I won't go into this too much because Freddy will tell you about the judging process itself, but it creates a really interesting balance of the more international palette that we're bringing over from the UK and the understanding of how to get wines into the UK, how they're sold, some of the gatekeepers of, like Freddy of the wine industry over here, blended with the local expertise. So there's a really sort of sharing of knowledge and information between the local judges and the international judges. So as I've seen it being nothing but a huge positive for everyone involved. And yeah, we're very much looking forward to coming over and being there for, I think we're there for 6 days in total. So it's going to be a quick, but hopefully it looks like we're going to have a really action-packed schedule with activities in the evening and the opportunity as well for you producers to get to know the judges and for us to get to know you as well. So I think it's I think the benefits and values are fairly obvious for all to see, and having experienced what we've done in the last year or so, I can wholeheartedly sort of say that it's been a huge success, which is why we're continuing to do it. So it's thank you to everyone in Margaret River joining the party, and we're very much looking forward to it. So I'm going to hand over to Freddy now to say something about the judging process, and then of course we'll come back and any other questions you've got about anything we can discuss at the end.
Lovely, thanks, Ali. Yes, so just quickly, who the hell am I? Yes, I'm Freddy. I've been judging for the IWSC for quite a few years now, and in my day job, I buy the Australian wines, amongst other things, for the Wine Society in the UK, which is a nearly 150-year-old business, oldest wine club in the world. It's got a fantastically large selection of wines on offer at any given time from all sorts of countries, regions, and so on. So it's a great place to be, and it's a bit of an institution in the UK. I think it's probably fair to say. Ali, hopefully you'd agree with that as well. But
I would indeed.
Yeah.
I would indeed agree with that. In fact, interestingly enough, it's when I was growing up, my dad was always a member of the Wine Society, and I remember he was pushing me even as a sort of 18-year-old to get membership to the Wine Society. Yeah. So it's a bastion of integrity with people like with Freddy there. But no, it's an amazing wine club.
Just to give you an idea of how influential it's been as a business, I remember Stephen Spurrier, when he was still alive, telling me that what got him into wine in the first place was on his 18th birthday, his grandmother bought him a membership of the Wine Society and a 12-bottle wine rack. And that's what got him into wine. So it's a really great place to be. It's a fantastic business. Yes, so just also wanted to echo some of Ali's points and say what a pleasure it is to be involved in this. Really looking forward to getting out there and judging in situ. It'd be fantastic, and it's going to be a really, really interesting opportunity to be able to judge alongside some Australians as well. Really looking forward to that. But the judging process itself. So one of the many fantastic things about the IWSC is how considered the judging process is, and how it really, really puts the wines, front and center, and gives the wines the very best opportunity to shine. And it's a very cooperative, collaborative approach to judging, which is fantastic. So essentially, just to run through the actual process. So what we'll tend to do is have teams of 3 or 4 judges together, and those judges will be usually people from different parts of the industry. So a team might well have, a buyer, a writer, and a sommelier or something like that. So you're really getting input from people who are coming at that wine from slightly different angles. Hence the collaborative sort of approach I was talking about, because conversation is a very, very key part of the process. Everything is tasted blind, of course, but we'll have information on things like grape variety and region. We'll know vintage. And then we also get provided information on, percentage of blends, whether wines are oaked or unoaked and things like that. So we have enough information to be able to make a really thorough decision. We can benchmark well, therefore, which is obviously really important. But of course, there's nothing that would sway or influence a decision. Obviously, it goes without saying that we don't know who the producers are, because that would be slightly unfair. But what's really key is that we have enough information provided to us to allow us to have an idea in our head of what we should expect, and then we can make a call from there. So everything is organized into flights. What's also really good is that it's a competition that doesn't throw hundreds of wines at us a day. It means that we can stay on form, as much at the end of the day as at the beginning. We're still able to make a good call right at the very end of the day on the final wine, because your palate's not fatigued. Obviously, palate fatigue is an important thing to consider. But again, and when it comes to fairness to the wines, we've got to make sure we're not overdoing it in that sense. So that's, I think, one of the great benefits of the IWSC is you don't have to worry where your wine is going to end up in the day. In other competitions, we're thinking, well, if my wine was one of the last ones of the day, the judges are probably exhausted by that point anyway. So that's not the case here, which is great. Now, I talked about the panel, those 3 or 4 judges. What we will tend to do is, with each flight, we will taste, let's say there's 10 wines in a flight on average. We will taste through those wines individually. We'll do a little bit of a benchmarking at the end of the day, at the beginning of the day, sorry, where we'll taste the first wine individually and then talk about that and score that one to make sure that all the judges are in the right sort of area. And then the process basically involves tasting through the whole flight individually. And at the end of that flight, when everybody's done and everybody's done their scores, then we talk through them. And generally speaking, we'll tend to find that we're in the right sort of ballpark. So we're starting out with medals first. That's the first thing you're thinking about, really. So obviously you've got your gold, silver, bronze medals. And when you're tasting a wine, thinking, right, where does this fall in my mind? The medal or no medal is the first thing to think about. And then beyond that, that's when you start thinking about scores, points. So, okay, if I'm thinking this is a silver, whereabouts within silver do I think personally that it falls? So at the end, when we've tasted through that flight, we'll read through everybody's scores. And if we're all in exactly the right ballpark, then fantastic, no problem. What we might do, however, is if we're all very high silver, let's say, we'll retaste that one again and consider it, is this actually maybe worthy of a gold? We're all quite impressed. Sometimes, as is always the way in judging competitions, there will be an instance where one judge is either feeling more positive or more negative than the other two or three in the team. And if that happens, then we'll come back to that wine, taste it through again, but taste through it together. And everybody has an opportunity to put their points across. Everyone has an opportunity to say, this is why I thought this was great, or this is why I wasn't convinced by this. And it's a really, really valuable thing to be able to do that. One of the, again, great positives of the IWSC is that everybody who is invited to judge because they're seen as being a collaborative and a sort of conversational taster. There's no time for big egos here. Everybody's looking to really all come together to give every single wine the best chance. And so what's great is that every single time I've judged, if there has been a judge in it, sometimes it's been myself as well, who has been a little bit off the mark when it comes to comparing their scores to the others. We're always able to come to a unanimous decision in the end, which is fantastic. However, sometimes it is a little bit tricky, and that's where Ali's sort of important role comes into play. So what will happen is we might then say, right, okay, if there's a team of 4, 2 of us are thinking bronze, 2 of us are thinking gold. We can't kind of come to a conclusion here. So we'll say, Ali, would you mind taking a look at this? And so Ali gets to retaste a lot of the wines that the panels haven't been able to necessarily make their minds up on. But also, you'll of course retaste anything that goes straight through as a gold. And then we talk through it together there as well. And it's really, really good to get that different point of view, to get that different opinion, which can help to just sway things a little bit and help us to all come to a conclusion, which is great.
Should I just tell you a little bit as well? Sorry to interrupt, Freddie, but just to sort of elaborate a little bit on the other things that I do behind the scenes. Also, whilst everyone's judging, of course, when we have some kind of discrepancy or we're on the fence with, is this could this be a gold? I will always get involved in those things. But behind the scenes, I'm also watching what's going on every panel and calling over samples. Often it's these very borderline ones. If it's a wine that's, you're all around 80, let's say, because 89 to 90 points would be a silver, 89 is a bronze. And if I see there's a lot of wines around 89, I'm calling a lot of those in as well, just to see if we're that close, then is there a discussion to be had? So there's also another safety net, as well as being called over by the panels. I'm also watching what's going on and tasting as well some of the borderline bronzes. If we're down at 84, is that possibly, is the wine that's actually a bronze that's being put out? So there's another, I'm constantly sort of trying to oversee and taste things behind the scenes as well. So which again, all of you guys maybe on the panels don't always know exactly what I'm tasting, but then if I find something, I'll come over and say, oh yeah, maybe case for this as well.
That's very true. It's always funny when you're judging within your panel and then the chair walks over with a glass and oh, hang on, are we in trouble? Have we missed something here? Because they're bringing a wine back over for you to taste. But quite often that might be something where, Ali, you might have noticed that we're all kind of high silver and you'll have pulled it out to look at, and you might come over and go, hang on, guys, like this is outstanding. And actually, maybe we should consider pushing this up to a gold, or as you say at the other end, when you're going, actually, guys, you've been a bit harsh and let's bump this up to a bronze. So it's always really good when you bring a wine over that we've already tasted, because you've looked at those scores that come through on your laptop, and go, hang on a minute, yeah, let's just take another little look at this one. So it's good. It's quite rigorous in that sense, which is of course fantastic. You know, rigorous judging is very, very important. One thing which is also fantastic about the IWSC is that even those wines that don't get a medal will still get feedback. So what we really want to see is we want to see wineries do really well. We want to see the quality of wine improve year on year, of course. It's all well and good us sort of just judging and going, oh, this isn't good enough, and that be it. We don't want that. We want people to go, okay, actually, yeah, I didn't get a medal this year, but we've been provided some good feedback, and we know what to aim for next year. So in an ideal world, every year with judging wines from any region at the IWSC, we would see an improvement in quality. And of course, that improvement in quality is therefore great for that region itself. So I think that ties in with what I was saying before about this being a very collaborative competition. It's collaborative amongst the judges, but also we want it to be collaborative, you know, within the wine industry as well. It's really, really important. So so that is key. Now, what else have I not covered, Ali? I think that's the probably most of that side.
I think so. I think that's the most of it. And yeah, I think again, just sort of reaffirming those points. You know, having judged and continuing to judge in lots of competitions, I think that the fact that there's no egos and that collaborative element and positivity, I think it's the thing that marks the IWSC out. I think for me,
yeah,
in from many of the other competitions that I judge in. So yeah, I think, and again, the blend of local judges when we travel and do these judging in situ just works really well, as I say, because everyone's learning from everyone, and sometimes the local judges have some knowledge that is very important to impart to the other judges, and vice versa. So I think it's a very democratic, collaborative judging process. It's just
completely
on that point.
The other thing I was just going to talk through was just to give a little bit of an idea of the experience going to a different country for us to judge, because of course there's more to the visit than purely the judging. So as Ali mentioned, there's already been a few of these away games, let's say, this year, and a couple last year, I think, as well. And I was in Austria doing this 3-4 weeks ago. And it was my first time doing IWSC judging abroad, but it was a really fantastic experience. And what's great about these judging trips is that as judges, I mean, you touched on this earlier, Ali, we come away as just total ambassadors for the region. You know, it's especially somewhere like Margaret River. It's not somewhere that it's very easy to pop over to that frequently for us in the UK. So this is a really, really good experience for us to then be able to absorb knowledge, absorb information, but also absorb the culture and really kind of get a first-hand learning of. I don't know if you can hear, there's a load of laughter going on in the background there, but it's somebody's birthday today in the office. Yeah, just to kind of absorb the region itself. So whilst we would tend to do the judging in the morning, of course, judging takes as long as it takes. It's not something that we would ever rush. That's the priority. That's why we're all there initially. But then what we'll try and squeeze in is some visits to wineries and vineyards, and we want to put faces to names. You know, while we're out there, it's a really good opportunity for us to actually sit around a table with people, get to know producers, get to really understand the region, get under the skin of the region, and just increase our knowledge. So actually, from our point of view, it's a real privilege to be able to get out and do that sort of thing, and come back, hopefully with a much more kind of vivid and detailed picture of a region than we probably left with. And we'll doubtless get that as well by judging with some of the local judges also. And then what we will do, I believe, at the end of the trip is record a bit of a video, which will allow us to give a little bit of feedback from our point of view. Again, this is another thing that ties in with this kind of collaborative approach. We want to be able to give our impressions, give our feedback, in the hope that it's useful. You know, it's a very competitive market, the UK. We've got probably the most competitive wine market in the world, I would say. And so what we really want to do is to be able to give a little bit of insight into that market, give a bit of an idea of how wines from Margaret River can slot into that market. And you know, we're very, very happy to give away some secrets in terms of where you should attack the UK market, and you know, bit of a strategy on how to do that. So we'll be doing that towards the end of the trip, and I think that's the crux of it, really. But I'm really looking forward to it. I'm counting down the weeks already, and yeah, it'll be great to get out there again. So if you could arrange a bit of sunshine for us, that'd be great. It's pretty gloomy here.
It would be good, wouldn't it?
The wrong time of year, really, but there you go. But yeah, so I think that's my side. Unless there's anything, Kristen or Ali, you wanna add?
No, nothing from me, I don't think. I think you've explained the judging process really well, and yeah, again, the values for all included for producers and for judges as well. Yeah, we're the very lucky ones that get to come over, and hopefully it's you're equally as lucky to receive us and have us there and have that opportunity to show us around. And for me, I haven't been back to Margaret River for 10 years or so. So it's been maybe a little bit more. So I'm a huge fan. So
you must have been 15 when you were last there, Ali, 10 years ago. Wow.
I was 12, but thanks, Freddy.
Oh, well, sorry. I apologize.
Oh, I like that. Thank you, veteran. I like you. But no, I think we've covered most things, and of course, hopefully there may be some questions now about things. I don't know if Kristen, you've got anything else you want to add.
I was just going to talk through results and the promotion the IWSC offers to the producers. I'm sure this might come up in a question, but I'll just touch on it briefly. So obviously, Ali has already mentioned that you will be receiving results on the 1st. So those results will be given to producers under embargo, and then it's not until the 4th, when the IWSC releases our results publicly, that you can then shout about your results, and we hope you do so on socials and everything. Please remember to tag us, because we're very good at sharing. But in terms of how we promote the results, so we have a huge social following, so obviously we do things via social, but also our website has so much traffic to it daily, hourly, especially on our results page. So we also heavily promote on our website. But then our consumer brand, which is, Ali's already mentioned, Club Enologique, or Club O, because it's quite a mouthful. We do features on there, and we will also be doing some consumer promotion on a podcast that we have with a judge, David Kermode, and that's the Drinking Hour, and that is a consumer audience, but an international consumer audience. We also host trade events in the UK, but we also attend trade fairs internationally, and we take winning wines with us. We have our huge awards ceremony in October, so that's the 19th of October. And we will be having a special table for Margaret River wine winners. So there'll be that. We have hundreds of people from across the drinks industry from all over the globe coming to that day, and they will have the opportunity then to taste through the winning wines from Margaret River. But also, we offer influencer campaigns, and there's lots of opportunities for producers who have particular interests in reaching out to specific markets or trade audience or consumer audience that we can help with. So following your results, we'll reach out to you, but please feel free to reach out to us if there's anything in particular you'd like us to help you with, or even more of an understanding how we will further your win. But yes, there's lots we can do, and there's lots we do independently to promote your results. But I'll let you ask questions if there's anything. I'm sure something else might come up that's you want to ask us about that. But I'll leave the floor to you lot to. Well, I think I've got some questions already. Oh no, just looking forward to seeing you all, which is great. We're looking forward to it too. But if anyone has any questions, please unmute yourself and ask away.
Bruce Dukes here from Domain Naturalist in Margaret River. With the results and communication to them, is that primarily to consumers, customers in the UK?
No, actually. So obviously we are UK based, but everything we do is international. So our audience is very heavily international. We also work with a media partner in China, because it's a very different market for us to reach out to the Chinese markets, and that's a big promotion we do in China for our winners. But our judges are actually international. So when we do our promotion, we know that we're reaching out to an international audience, definitely. Another thing that is really key is that all judges actually receive the winning results post announcement. So it's a great opportunity for them to actually understand what they've tasted, because obviously everything is done blind. So it's definitely not UK based, and that's why we also make sure that we do go to international trade fairs. But our consumer arm, our sister brand, and also any trade publications we publicise in are international. They're not solely UK based. I hope that answers the question.
Great, thank you. Yes, it did. That's great.
Okay.
Thank you, Kristen.
That's it. And anything else? I think there might have been some questions given in advance, but I think we've already mentioned them. It was about the wines being tasted blind, which I know Freddy's already said, but unlike some competitions, the judges never even feel a bottle. They never see a bottle in a bag or anything like that. They are given the glasses only with the liquids and the information that Freddy's already shared. So there's no bias. The competition and the medals are awarded solely based on the liquid that is in the glass. There was also mention about a previous question about how we judge wines, how the wines be judged against wines from other countries. So talking about our trophy judging, so obviously Freddy's mentioned that bronze, silver and gold medals are awarded, but we also do a trophy judging after all the gold medals. So we will be asking gold winners to be sending wines to the UK for them to then be judged with all the other gold medal winners from this year's competition. So there's thousands of you out there, and our judges will join together to taste through all the golds and award trophies to the outstanding bottles. There's no limit on the number of trophies. So Freddie, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say on the trophy judging, it's worth mentioning. So that the judging panel for the trophy judging is a smaller panel, usually a bit more kind of specialized. But one of the unique things about the trophy judging is that there's no shoehorning. There's no kind of, oh, we have to find a trophy for Chardonnay, let's say, or we have to find a trophy for whatever region. It really is just a matter of letting the wines really sing on the day. So the gold medal winners will be arranged again into small flights. Usually these flights are a bit smaller than they were first time around, because there aren't, it's not every wine gets a gold. It's this is proper judging, and there's integrity through and through, of course. So when we look at those gold medals again, so anyway, as a panel, we all unanimously say, yes, that is a standout wine. Let's bump it up to a trophy. But also what's great is that there's no limit on the trophies. We might have a flight of, I don't know, 6 Margaret River Chardonnays that have all gotten gold. And if we think they are all truly outstanding, they can all get a trophy. There's nothing to say that they can't. So I think that's something which is quite unique about the trophy judging for the IWSC. And I think it's very positive personally, because it really is just about the wines. We're not trying to tick any boxes, which is, I think, important.
I agree. Just something else, Kristen. I think I know the answer to this, but producers also get given, as well as what Freddie said about if you don't get a medal, obviously you get feedback on why you didn't get a medal. So if you're getting 83, 84, there will be feedback on those, and of course there's tasting notes for all of the wines. But they also get their scores as well as their medal, don't they?
Yes, definitely.
Yes. So, because some competitions I know you just get a silver medal or a bronze medal or a gold medal, and here that you do get a corresponding score as well. So you could, it may be a 93 in a silver. So I think that as well is quite important to have your specific point score as well as your trophy, or as well as your medal. Sorry.
Yes, definitely. That's all shared, as well as the tasting note